presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, is pledging to rebuild Nigeria's educational infrastructure to meet global best standards if he is elected. Kwankwaso says he will also ensure that Nigerian graduates are gainfully employed to discourage them from leaving the country. Arise correspondent Punariman Benjamin tells us more.
It's a town hall meeting organized by the new Nigeria People's Party. In this hall are students and lecturers at the University of Abuja. Others are politicians and supporters of the NNPP presidential candidate. They are here to engage with the NNPP presidential candidate on his plans to build a new Nigeria as part of his manifesto and campaign. The presidential candidate started by promising free education to all Nigerian students.
Our boys and girls, or our children, were given opportunity to go to primary schools. They were encouraged by 2 sets of uniforms. They were encouraged with a meal in the school every day. And we had to make arrangements with colleges of education and universities for them to go and get their NCE. We sponsored them 100%. And I'm happy to say all of them were able to get that scholarship and of course had the opportunity to go and study.
The question and answer session later stimulated questions on the economy, infrastructural development, insecurity, and the educational sector. For the university's vice-chancellor, he wants the next administration to tackle the challenges of power which is crippling the Nigerian economy.
You cannot even fix electricity. I mean, look at what God has done for us. We have this abundant sunlight. Even when it's raining, it's sunny in Nigeria. Yet, in Nigeria, what we have is regularly irregular electricity. It's shameful. Issues of electricity have been solved for long in the world. Small nations, big nations have resolved it. You go to different parts of the world, electricity will never blink. What you have here is regularly irregular electricity. If you have electricity this minute, next minute it is gone. What kind of nation is that?
Nigerians have already started a countdown to the general elections scheduled for February 25th next month. The NNPP is hoping that citizens will give it a chance to govern them at the federal and state levels. Punariman Benjamin, Arise News.
Oh, we're now joined by the spokesperson for the NNPP and Kwankwaso Presidential Campaign Council, Ladipo Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us. Nothing is really free, is there? Some would say the only
free time.
Exactly, and the only free cheese you can find is in the mousetrap.
That's right.
So let's talk about free education that your principal has been propagating. Those who say, you know, it's insincere to keep pushing free education in Nigeria at this time, what's your response to them? Because they say you cannot get quality education when it is free.
Thank you and good evening. Well, you say nothing is free, but it also depends on your priorities. If a government decides that the future of the youth, the future of industry, the future of production, future of entrepreneurship is important to it, then the government will prioritize the educational sector. And when we talk about the educational sector, it's not just from primary school to secondary school and university. You also have to look at technical education if you want to revamp your economy, if you want to move industry forward. And also, you have a great chunk of people who are either illiterates or those who are retired, and because you're trying to revamp the economy and move in a new direction, you need to re-educate them. You need adult education, re-education, reorientation. Now, if these things are important to you, then you will begin to make sure that you bring your recurrent expenditure down from some 70 to 80%, where it is lying at the moment. you begin to bring it down so that you can spend money on things that are more important and things that will make the country allow us to survive, grow, and thrive. So yes, on paper, it might seem to a wasteful generation, I'm not abusing us all, that, oh, we can't afford it. But we can afford some 30 million a month for some senators. So we have to get real and begin to know that we're going to have to make sacrifices. We're going to make costs. And you have to, not make costs, sorry, you have to cut costs in governance. That is the only way forward. And that is one of the things that Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is talking about. He has prioritized education. And of course, with that, you'd have to do security and other things. But we are saying to Nigerians, we have what it takes. We have the political will to move this country forward, to take the hard, difficult decisions that have to be taken. That is the only way. Any other way, we're joking. So that is why you see that education is so important to him. And he's done it before. I don't want to go back to say he did this in Kano. The ratio of recurrent expenditure to capital expenditure, he reversed it in 4 years. So you have to do it. So I understand where you're coming from when you say, Adeswa, that in the situation we are at now with trillions of naira in debt and what have you. I understand that. But you have to understand that if we do not take difficult decisions, if it is not painful, then we cannot cure the cancer that we have now.
Absolutely. And another sector that needs curing is the power sector. You heard from the Vice Chancellor of the University of Abuja, Mr. Anlas, there saying, look, something needs to be done about the power sector. Nigeria, out of the 145 countries in the world, ranks 36 on the issue of power availability. We've not really heard much from Mr. Kwankwaso on what he will do for the power sector, to change the tangent right now, the trajectory, as a matter of fact, from where it is right now. What exactly is Kwankwaso's plan for the power sector in Nigeria if he becomes president?
Well, the power sector has become sort of it's a riddle, it's a difficult one, but we have looked at it and we still are looking at it as we go along because, as you say, there's a trajectory at the moment. I won't say that we're heading in the wrong direction. I think that this government has tried to take some steps. In fact, President Jonathan took some steps, and we feel that when you talk about generation, things are improving, but distribution is still a problem. Again, there seems to be interest, as with everything in Nigeria. If not, I believe that things would have moved even faster. But we are going to be looking at different radical things, unbundling the sector even further. And then alternatives. We really have to be serious about alternatives, solar energy, etc. And then, as I said, I think when you speak to most people in the sector, the distribution is a problem. And that is one area where it would be better, we believe, to have it really, really unbundled and everything.
All right, Mr. Johnson, it's not uncommon to see cross-carpeting defection in politics in Nigeria, especially during this period of elections. But there are concerns raised, and there are groups calling for your principal to step down for another candidate. This time around, they're saying he should step down for the PDP's candidate. They say a lot of people are jumping ships in the NNPP to the PDP. In fact, a particular group came out. They're called the Northern Liberal Democratic Movement, and they're calling on him to step down to support PDP. I'm sure you've been hearing talks about the NNPP collapsing their structure for other parties. If it's not Labour Party, it's the PDP. What exactly is going on? Is there any likelihood? Are there talks, and how is this going to happen?
Adeswa, you hit the nail on the head. There are different groups, different people. Today step down for this party, tomorrow step down for the other party. It's all a joke, and we've addressed it several times. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the NNPP, are not stepping down for anyone. You will recall there was a time a lot of the pundits, including some of the press, would say that, oh, Kwankwaso has nothing, just in Kano and a few other places, if you recall. And I keep saying to people that if that is the case, why do you keep asking him to come onto your side? The bottom line is this. People will say anything. They'll go and buy, look, the Kwankwaso caps that you see, they're there, 200 naira for each one in the market. They buy these things and put some people together that they hired to say that they're cross-carpeting. It's almost here. It's the 25th of February, and then we'll see what has happened. The bottom line is this. The NNPP is growing on a daily basis. Rabiu Kwankwaso has adopted a different type of approach to the elections, to campaigning. He didn't start rallies until about 2 weeks ago. Since September, he's been moving by motor car from local government to local government. He's done way over 400. And the last state remaining that he hasn't touched, he will be touching, I believe, tomorrow. He's leaving Abuja for the state in the southern part of the country. So he's done that. He's gone down to the grassroots level. Now we will see whether that works or not. But people have to wait till the 25th of February. We are not stepping down. We have a message we've brought to the people. We have the trust of the masses, the working classes. Those are the people. You'll see that NNPP has no interest in trying to get this senator or that governor or whatever. We have gone directly to the people. And that is why we maintain that if INEC gives us a free and fair election, then we are very confident that the masses in this country will vote Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and the NNPP.
All right.
So the answer to your question is we're not stepping down.
Okay, well, he has said different fora that he will step down for any superior, candidate or argument. But every time we hear Kwankwaso and yourself now, just hold on. Every time we hear you say that the NNPP is the fastest growing political party in Nigeria, tell us exactly what the strength of the NNPP is right now as you move into the elections, of course, February 25th.
Yes. The first thing, before I tell you about the strength of the NNPP, I won't let you go scot-free. When he said that at Chatham House. And he said that in confidence because he knows that we have seen all the candidates. INEC forms have closed. And from the other 17 rather, presidential candidates, in all humility, we don't see anyone who has the capacity, the competence, and the political will, or academic, that is better placed than Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. But to your question now, as to the strength of the NNPP when we say we're a growing party, you will be surprised when the votes start to come in, that from various parts of the country, even the North Central, you see, there are some myths about politics in Nigeria. And the pundits and the press seem to forget. For instance, when you talk about Atiku Abubakar or the PDP, you tend to forget that the votes he got last time had the input of Rabiu Kwankwaso in the Northwest. You tend to forget that he has a Kwankwaso movement that is spread around the country. I have been Kwankwaso coordinator in Lagos since 2013. And we have other parts of the party as well. It's not just Kwankwaso. Yeah, we have the old NNPP, we call them. We have groups like the NAGAV and other interest groups that are there. So the party is spread. Now, there's nothing wrong, I keep saying it, there's nothing wrong with being very strong in one part of the country and being slightly weaker elsewhere, but strong enough for what you have to do to win an election. We know what we have to do.
Okay.
Right.
Maximum amount of votes and the percentage laid down by the Constitution.
All right.
And I keep saying we have a path, a clear path to victory.
Well, many polls,
it's simple and
many polls
straightforward.
place Kwankwaso a distant fourth or fifth, and they say in the southeast, south,
Definitely,
it
and I
stands
don't know-
no chance. But we'll have to leave it there.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Ngozi. We've seen those polls, but who did they talk to?
Okay.
All right, we'll
Only
have to leave
people
it there.
on telephones.
Thank you very much. Ladipo Johnson is spokesman for the NNPP and a member of the NNPP Presidential Campaign Council, joining us tonight on Newsline.